and to staff. So the way that works, if some of you watch the selection committee meetings, staff would make a recommendation, the committee would discuss it, might change it, might talk about it. That's how that works all the time in this kind of work. And then advocate. Advocate for residents, advocate sometimes for the land bank if that's what's needed, but also advocate for additional resources. There are folks in here who sought and were awarded ARPA dollars from the city. So they're already active in seeking resources for the neighborhood. You've seen how the land bank has gone after additional resources when we thought it made sense for the grant and the work that we're doing. And so once, a plan is established, I think there's a real possibility that it can be used to seek additional resources because there will be a unified voice from the neighborhood about how vacant land is used. And so that's one of the things I'm really excited about because we hope that it can create some synergy with other things that are already happening by other organizations. And now it's time to introduce this fabulous group of people. We're going to start with the ones who had the really hard job. When we asked them to be in our selection committee, they probably thought it was going to be all fun and games, and then they had a really hard decision to make because a lot of great folks put their names forward to be on this committee. And so we'll just go down the line here. Our first selection committee member is Ms. Linward Gray.
Since you guys already met me, I don't have much more to say, but I just really appreciate all the work that the staff has put in to get us to this point, to even apply for the grant. Community input is going to be so exciting. That really is what makes neighborhoods. I'm excited to be a part of this because of my long-standing time in MPC2. I was born and raised here. I worshiped at Mount Zion at first. Now I worship here at Second Baptist, and I don't know if my pastor's still out there, but he made some rounds earlier. And I work in Ward 2, and everything in MPC2 and everything about me has always been in this area, and I love it. So this is just a great opportunity for all of us, and I'm happy to be a part of it. So thank you.
I thought this was going to be something light and simple, guys. It said a meet and greet, and I did not think I was going to have to talk, okay? So obviously, before I break this. Can I take this off? Okay. I don't have a lot to say, so we're going to readjust it in a minute. But anyway, I just want to say my name is Rochelle Hatcher, and I fell in love with the Washington Heights area when I moved here 30 years ago, and I purchased a home here in the neighborhood to raise my kids. It was a neighborhood, and it was a home, and it was built just like the ones that I grew up with. I was not born and raised here in Battle Creek, but it reminded me of the neighborhood that I grew up as a child because there were so many people that, first of all, it was a collective group of African Americans, and we were middle-class African Americans, and we took care and raised our children. And as most of you probably know, your next-door neighbor raised you, and the lady across the street raised you, and everybody told you what to do, and you better do as so-and-so said, and if you didn't, you probably want to get home and try to tell your side of the story to your mom first. So that's how I grew up, and that's how I wanted to raise my kids, and that's the environment that I wanted them to do. And fortunately for me, I was able to raise and graduate 2 children out of the Battle Creek school system, which I was extremely proud of their education and the level that they received from there. And then it just caused me to continue to work in the neighborhood because I wanted other children in the neighborhood to also experience that. And I think they experience that from the neighborhood. I think we grow and we encourage and we go to the next generations because we keep the neighborhoods up. And so it was always important. So that is really what has driven me. Now, I just happen to also be Calhoun County Commissioner, but that has really little to do with what I can do for my community. Everything I've done in the community and everything that I feel I've done for Ann Avenue and Washington Heights and NPC too, has all been out of volunteerism, has all been out of just that need to make sure that our community remains and stays what it is that we want. And I think that comes from us working inside, and then we get what we want. So anyway, having said that, when Krista brought this to my attention, and I also was aware that in the past, a lot of my neighbors have maybe lost homes from back taxes, which I think that's a terrible way to lose what your family has invested in and put so much into, for a family to lose a home from back taxes. And so then the home would go in disrepair, and then it would sit, and then it would become a problem, and no one did anything. And then it just seemed like the only solution was always to just tear it down. And then I thought that we just lost a piece of the community when we do that. So that's what drove me, and I told her anything that I could do and anything I can do as a county commissioner for the land bank and work it out is what I was going to try to do. So here we go. I look forward to meeting everybody, okay, and talking with everyone, okay? After we get through with all this gushy, this stuff, this is the stuff, I'm like, no, okay, I'm gonna go to the back and just talk. So anyway, thanks everybody, okay?
I think it's the right height for me right now. I'm Janasia Morris. I am your Ward 2 City Commissioner. Recently, I've been getting a lot of questions about what made me want to be a city commissioner. And I've had a lot of time to think about it, and I think that I didn't really have a choice. I think my grandma's here, and when I called her to tell her about this event, she already knew about it. She was already coming. My grandma has been involved in this community for a long time, and I was kind of tagging along as a little kid. So that kind of gave me a heart for service, and I've been serving this community for as long as I can remember. I was born and raised in Washington Heights, O'Neill Street, and then we had a house fire, and I moved around the corner to Pelham, Montgomery. So I've been in this neighborhood the entirety of my life, and I've seen the changes in the neighborhood. I didn't really understand it. I'm 22 years old, so at first I didn't really understand why there were houses there one day, and then the next day they were empty lots. But now that I'm older and I'm involved with my community in the ways that I'm involved with it, I see that we have the power to affect this situation that's going on. I see that this advisory council is something that I'm very proud to be on. It's diverse, and we can all bring our own different interpretations and experiences to help keep our neighborhood thriving and make our neighborhood grow again. I'm tired of stuff disappearing. I want to build our community, and so I think that's why I didn't have a choice. It's just in my heart to build up this community. It's been in me since she put it in me, and I'm gonna keep on doing it.
Good afternoon. My name is Brian Sweet. I've been in the Washington Heights area since 1965. It wasn't easy to get to this area when I came along. My mother had to have a lawyer to get up there. It was like pulling teeth with pliers. I remember the time we couldn't even get across Van Buren Street, especially when it got dark. Vice chair of Neighborhood Planning Council, which I didn't really plan on going that way. Gonna be for Lynn and her husband, I would have never even thought about it. But I'm glad I did. I'm really concerned about this area because there's too much going on. A lot of people don't know, they're not being communicated with. A lot of stuff is being swept under the table, not being talked about. A lot of people losing homes, not being informed why. Misinformed about a lot of things that's going on in the Washington Heights area. It's just a shame. It's just really a shame why we're not being educated, being talked to about why we're losing our homes. It's not just back taxes. It's just people trying to steal your home from you. There's a lot of things going on, such as trying to, I talked to a guy today about rezoning this area. This is supposed to be a historical neighborhood. We've got a lot of things that's coming up in this neighborhood that shouldn't even be in this neighborhood. That's right. One thing that's really bothering me is down here on Ann Avenue. I call them scatter homes. They shouldn't be there. They shouldn't be there at all. You bring it up, nobody wants to talk about it. But yet still they want to take these other homes and just tear them down. But anyway, I appreciate being on this committee. Can't understand why I'm the only man on it, though, but I really can't. I think they snuck me in there some kind of way. But these women are a great bunch of women to work with. You know, they listen to me, but they don't listen to me. So I just go along with that way, so they listen to me, but they don't listen to me. I'm outnumbered. But anyway, this is a real good committee to work with. I hope the community gets more involved in who we are. Fight, and keep on fighting. Don't give up.
Yeah.
You are up.
How everybody doing? As you know, my name is Marcel Heath. I am from Battle Creek, born and raised in Battle Creek. My grandma lived at 188 Hubbard Street. She just recently passed. My mom lived on 29 Bowen. I went to middle school, grade school, high school, all through there. Now working with families in and out of homes for the last 8 years, primarily in the Washington Heights area, has highlighted just this project and how important it is for us to catapult this in and out of homes and work with families on the same issues, back taxes. I'm going to repair certain things. I'm not sure how to go about getting things fixed. And so being able to be on this project, I think it'd be a great opportunity for me to bring just that insight when I'm going into the homes and I actually can see these homes. I can see how affected they are being and the neglect that there is to these homes because of the lack of knowledge, the lack of understanding on how to completely take care of a home. So a little bit about me. Like I said, I'm from Battle Creek, born and raised. Went to KCC, graduated. I got a family. My wife's here. Got 3 children. Just kind of look forward to actually being on this project. I don't have much to say, but I'd love to get the work done. So, okay.
I didn't prepare a speech, but I really don't have much to say. My name is Brigida. I've lived in this community for my whole life. I went to Northwestern and Battle Creek Central and KCC. Now I'm a graduate student at Western, almost done. And anything that is a part of, I'm happy to be a part of too. So that's all.
Good afternoon. I'm Shirley McKinney. I was born, raised, and attended HBCU in Western Tennessee. Much of my time was spent down on the farm. And My mother never gave up her garden, so we never really left the farm. I began my career teaching in a two-teacher school. The best teaching I'd ever done because I could do what I wanted to do. And that was teach my kids what they needed to know. I had 4 grades, about 20 students, and outdoor toilets, but it was great. I came to Bow Creek in the mid-60s. I've always lived in the Washington Heights area. Much of my work experience was in the Washington Heights area. I taught at NJ. I worked in a nursery school. I worked at Washington Heights Community Ministries. I worked for Goodwill when Goodwill was down on Michigan Avenue. I worked for the Calhoun County Health Department. That meant home visits and traveling all over the county. I worked with a infant maternal support program. Our job was to take care of the mothers through their pregnancy and the infants until they were about a year old. I also worked on the Calhoun County Child and Death Review Team, a teen parent study group, a child abuse. I believe that was a long time ago. Let me check here. Calhoun County Child Abuse and Neglect Team. I went through the Kellogg Foundation Kids Program, a community leaders program with Neighborhood Inc., and a community mentoring program with the Urban League and the Kellogg Company. I live on Bowen Avenue, and I see some of my neighbors here from Bowen Avenue. We have a fabulous Bowen Avenue Neighborhood Association. You know, without waiting for the street sweeper to come along, we swept up the glass, we swept the leaves up out of the curbs so the water would flow. Oh, there were just so many things we did to make our neighborhood better. One of my philosophies in life is, if you get along, have a good relationship with your family and with your neighbor, it makes your life a whole lot better. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I don't know how to come behind Miss Shirley. I don't have anything written. Shanae A. Meadows, lifelong Washington Heights resident, born and raised. I was a Dudley Mustang. I was a Northwestern Viking. I was a Battle Creek Central Bearcat. Can't imagine or want to live on any other side of town but here. So I'm excited. Serve on a lot of boards. And I, just like Janasia, my grandmother, Betty Settles, was my rock, and I followed her everywhere. I studied under her, and through that I became a second-generation trustee at Community Foundation. I serve as the board chair for Sojourner Truth Center of Liberation and Justice. I happily serve on the Washington Heights Hub of Hope Ministries Board. We're looking for board members. Anybody want to join? The same with Sojourner Truth. So I'm excited. I look forward to learning and growing. I am not a homeowner, but that's something that I'm interested in. So I always look for opportunities to have resources to share. I work for Calhoun County Public Health Department. So I do know some people. I remember commercial properties within in our neighborhood. So if we are able to do those things, especially if it's food related, I look forward to offering my resources up in that capacity. I'm just excited. I'm ready to learn, roll up my sleeves, and be a voice, and let's get it done.
Good afternoon. My name is Eric Vaughn. I wasn't really expecting to speak in front of people today, or I would have put something together. I have spent the vast majority of my